Hello students and welcome to this short video. I want to talk about something that I'm seeing earlier today that occurred in an assignment, and I just want you to have a little bit of understanding what I am in particularly looking for in your writing. Here is, and this is from our first and you may see that screen record under, I don't know. This is from our first essay assignment in 12A, and what I have seen is this, where a student has written, in my opinion, too far down, is in response to the Canterbury Tales slash Sir Gawain essay topic. And they wrote, medieval romances can be defined as a narrative fiction which depicts the adventures and values of the aristocracy. However, story contains elements of courtly love, which can be referred to as refined love, which can be known to be a confusing notion. Love is tied up with romance and attraction. And what I'm going to pick out here is I want you to see how this item um, appears in the work. Um, yes, it's okay to use Cliff Notes to gather an understanding of what you might be reading, but it's not okay to use information from items such as Cliff Notes or other resources. If I would put in, for example, medieval romance, and I'm just going to show you one of the ways that we search, and we have a couple programs that we use. We search to see if a student's work is their own, and we just go straight into Google, and we can tell that, and there's no way that you can get around it. Here's where a student, or here's where someone had put up on the web, medieval romances are narrative fictions representing the adventures and values of the aristocracy. And we go right into the student's work and look at this. Okay, that is something which we call plagiarism. Plagiarism is using someone else's work with and passing it off as your own. There's ways where you can use this, and what you have to do is cite the material. And so in the class, in your class, there's different ways that you can gather the information for citing. We'll show you that real quickly here in a second. Or you could um, do it as simply as saying at, and then you give the listing of the website. The definition of medieval romances is given as, and then you're writing exactly there. So that's one way to put it in your work. Okay. Another way is when you bring up your class, and I'm going to bring up English 12A here in a second. It'll take a second for it to appear here in class. As you're seeing it on the screen, and you have some different tools that you can use, and we're going to try to make certain that we don't have that playing in the background this week's video. Okay, notice here there's some English tools, and one of them is called Cite This For Me. If you're using Chrome as your browser, you can add this. This is an app, okay, an extension, and it will allow you to copy the information from the page so that you can add that onto your page. It'll show you how to cite the work. Okay, very good app. So I would encourage you to to utilize that. If you feel that you need to use someone else's work, you also have to give them the credit. You know, if you ever listen to like a sports team and some star wins the award, you know, like a quarterback wins an award, he'll say, you know, if it wasn't for my offensive line, I could never have done what I've done today. So think about the same when you're in the classroom. That's number one. Number two, my wireless classroom, I have lots of great items there that you can utilize. And in this case, I'm going to show you what you want to utilize when you're putting together an essay such as this. Just go to My Wireless Classroom, then click on Class Downloads. Don't have to go into class areas, just click on Class Downloads. And at the bottom are some PDFs that you can use when you read or write and you need to take notes. And we have a new course coming up soon that we talk about using graphic organizers as your notes. But here's one called the 5-paragraph essay. And roughly, this would be an outline that you can use, and you don't even have to print out this page. You can write this information on a blank piece of paper. And when you do the fill in the circle type tests, you can use graphic organizers to get your notes as you read and make certain that you're not going to miss something. So what I want to do is show you here, introduction, thesis, and conclusion. A lot of that can be done later. In the assignment, and let me bring up that assignment again. Okay. In that particular assignment, it says, choose one of these topics, and we're going to do this for Sir Gawain. Medieval romance kind of writing that has mysterious supernatural setting, idolizes or idealizes chivalry and courtly love, and may involve masking a character's real identity. Usually the hero takes up an unusual challenge and whose triumph brings glory to the king and nation. Okay, and what you're doing is you're writing an analytical essay to determine how this poem fits this genre. So what you want to do is you want to find the items that are most important for you to discuss. So let's highlight, what do we want to talk about? Okay, and what's your thesis? So first of all, your thesis is going to be made up of what you put in the body paragraph. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at this, and what I would want to do is for the body paragraph, we're talking about it's kind of writing that has a mysterious supernatural setting. So this right here would be body paragraph 1. Body paragraph 2 would be idealizes chivalry and courtly love. Okay, and you may want to just take more of this. Okay, idealizes chivalry and courtly love, may involve masking a character's real identity. Put that in body paragraph number 2. And in body paragraph number 3, you could take this right here. Okay, usually hero, you just copy that, put that right there in body paragraph 3. Now, the key is what you want to do in gathering your information for your essay is you want to find examples from the reading. So you would find examples that have a mysterious supernatural setting. Okay, and you put your examples there. The examples of chivalry, courtly love, and the masking of a character's real identity. And we know the Green Knight, who's actually Lord Bertilick, you know, he masks himself as the Green Knight. Okay, and we know Sir Gawain has taken up this unusual challenge of having his neck sliced a year after the original challenge. So now you're starting to see where you have your examples are fitting in. Okay, and you're determining, or this is showing how a poem fits into the genre of medieval romance. Now, would I or could I or should I utilize something such as this courtly love definition that someone else has written here? Okay. You could. Okay. Um, this point right here, now in the example I gave you, this was like written word for word. And this is common knowledge that many people think love is you got to be attractive and it's romantic. Okay. But what you can say is in your own words, why is courtly love so different than romantic love? Okay. Would you read this love outside of marriage? Could you take all this information here and break it down into your own words in maybe a sentence or two, maybe 3 sentences, in your own words, not using what they have there? Okay, that's the point that you want to get to, that you would put in to that body paragraph. Okay, so that's what you put in, and that's how you start working it. The introduction, notice the introduction's at the beginning there and the conclusion at the end. The order that you use in the introduction, you're going to use in your conclusion, except you're going to flip-flop it. So the first sentence that you have in your introduction is usually your thesis statement. That would be opposite in the conclusion. I like making my thesis statement the last sentence of the introduction. So I'm going to review it as the first sentence in the conclusion. See how that's coming together? And what would the thesis be on this particular paper? It's going to be utilizing what we have here, okay? And what we would say is Sir Gawain and the Green Knight is an excellent example of a medieval romance because it contains a mysterious and supernatural setting. It involves the ideas of chivalry and courtly love, okay, and contains a very unusual challenge. That's your thesis. So notice what you're doing. Think of this as like an hourglass. Top of the hourglass wide open, funnels down. Now we have the paragraphs telling us a little bit about it. And now the narrowing to the wide or the width is your conclusion. Okay? A lot of papers can be put together using this simple formula. Gather your thoughts, make it as bullet points first. And if you need help in making it all fit together, feel free to get me involved. And here's my suggestion. Use this idea on a Google Doc. Put labels, introduction, thesis, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, body paragraph 3, conclusion. And then you start filling in those areas. If you're sharing this document with me and you're confused or you're you have a little roadblock, a little writer's block, send me a note with the shared link and say, Mr. L, I'm having a little difficulty. Can I get some suggestions? Mr. L, here's my draft before I submit it in. Could you review it and give me any ideas? Is there any changes that need to be made? What should I do? Because what I will do is I will go in to your document in Google and I can make comments. And I can highlight. So I may highlight the word introduction, and on the side, I can put a little comment, and it will appear for you, and it'll say, introduction spelled incorrectly, should not have 3 T's. And then you can go back in and take a look at it. Or I may put a comment, I love your introduction, but the order of items you have in your thesis are backwards compared to how you talk about them in the body of your essay. You know, this last one might be, you know, I think, what did I say earlier? Let me bring this up. See, I'm getting old, starting to lose it. So the third item, the third body paragraph may be this unusual challenge, but when you were talking about in your introduction or thesis, you might listed it that it contained an introduction. And you wrote about, you know, as the last thing here, but maybe you showed it first thing in your body paragraphs. And think about it this also, your body paragraph 1, most important point. Your body paragraph 3, probably the least important or your least, or what shall I say, the weakest point. Okay, not your strongest suit, not your strongest point in what you're writing about. Okay. Utilize this formula and you're going to be very successful. You can gather notes, put them on the side, and then write your sentences after you've gathered all your notes. It might seem like you're slowing down, but it actually helps you speed up in writing a very good essay. And this is just another way to work smarter, not harder. Okay. If you have any questions about this, feel free to email me or send me a note on Remind. I look forward to talking to you all soon, and I hope you're having a great day.